Hello and welcome to GTO Coach and Go. I'm Jim Dellerman with Group Travel Odyssey. I want to thank you for joining us again today. And before we get started on today's topic, I do want to remind you, if you've not done so yet, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button down below. And also, if you ring the bell, you'll be notified anytime we have new content on our YouTube channel. You can also connect with us on LinkedIn at Group Travel Odyssey and like our Group Travel Odyssey Facebook page as well. We do post quite a bit of stuff on our social media channels, and we'd love for you to be involved with that. So make sure to take advantage of that. Well, today we're going to be talking a little bit about what you can do to prepare to get a new system, what we need you to do once you do initially sign on to get GTO as well. And to help me do that, and actually to kind of lead us through this discussion, let's bring on Corey Vries. Hey, Corey.
Hello, hello. How are you, Jim?
I'm good. It's long time no see. It's
indeed. I'm all rested from my vacation and raring to go. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Well, wonderful. Well, as I was saying, we are going to talk today about what people need to do when they're joining GTO, what they can do to prepare to join GTO, and kind of what the expectations are at the beginning.
Yeah. So if you're watching this live, think of it as what didn't I do when I signed up for GTO that would really be helpful for everyone involved. And if you're watching this in the past, then or like in the future, then you're either probably getting this because you just signed on, or we're using it as some sort of instruction. But GTO is not. This is not a small thing that we're talking about here. GTO is a powerful tool that you use, and it's super important that you understand that there's got to be a little bit of time commitment from people in the organization to fully utilize everything that happens on GTO. So, for instance, when you sign up, and there's a lot of things that you want to fill out. If you don't fill them out, then what happens is you have to fill them out later, probably when you don't have enough time, when you haven't scheduled the time. So first thing you want to do is schedule some time to fill out the information that we're about to go over, so that it immediately drops in. I'll give you an example. We're going to find out when you have a tour director, when you use a tour director and you want them to have specific documents added to their packet in the tour director app, then you can add all those, right? If you have an emergency report to fill out, or if you have just a blank something or another that you need to send them, every tour director gets one. You can add it into the system once. It will send to all your tour directors, right? But if you don't do that, you have to send them to all your tour directors one at a time. So outlay of time at the beginning saves you time at the end. Let's get this show on the road and see what it is I'm talking about. First, and while I'm doing the awkward share screen moment thing, let me say that the first real thing that you should do. Can we see my screen?
We can now.
Okay, just checking. I was like, I didn't have that infinity moment happen.
Lots and lots of us on there.
Yeah. I always look for that to make sure. So basically, the first thing you want to do is you want to contact Taylor, and you want to set up your series of trainings, right? This is not just some random company's online computer system that they use to build some trips. There are a lot of those out there. These aren't even the big companies, just, oh, I'm building a trip kind of thing that you can, that does as little as possible, but requires as little input from you as possible. This is again a powerful tool, which means that you have to learn a lot. The learning curve is steep on GTO on purpose, because it will do so much for you, but you have to let it know ahead of time what's going on. So get your trainings done first. Like, just go ahead and set those up. I believe that's a 10 session. It's a 10 session setup, and you can schedule those with her. I believe you can even do more than one, maybe at a time, but they're all about an hour long, and they take you through step by step exactly what you need to do. They're awesome. Get with her and set those up.
The thing And the thing that's nice about those, Corey, too, is that, you know, as she gets those set up, she uses what we call the process document. So we go through with each of our GTO members, we go through how their current office processes work, from sales all the way through a trip, traveling, group accounting, and they close out the trip. Once we go through that, Taylor can see how she can align that up with what GTO does. And so when she does schedule your training, she is specifically training on areas that you're going to need all that help with. So it's really great. It's not just a generic training at all.
Right, right. It definitely customized for what it is you're trying to get accomplished, and which I think is great. And once you've done all, I mean, like that's just setting up the training. Then what you want to do is you want to say to yourself, okay, what are my accounts? What are my contacts? I'm going to get those to GTO so that they can get uploaded into the system. We do upload contacts. We do upload accounts of yours. Make sure that that person and the account are very easily lined up, so that we can make that connection in the system. Remember that our system has compartmentalized the accounts and the contacts. So contacts could be used for more than one company if that's the case, but we have to know those things in order to make that happen.
Right.
You also want to make sure that you get us supplier information. Jim, tell me again, how many suppliers do we upload for people?
Well, what we are doing is we do a review of their top suppliers, and if they're not in there, and by top suppliers, we will take like your top 1,000 at max, to go through and see if they're already in the system. If they're not in the system, then we can go ahead and have them put in. What we have found that is very helpful, if you take your top traveling trips, that's hard to say, top traveling trips. If you take like the proposal or the itinerary, so you can give us a list of the suppliers that you use most frequently, those are the ones that we can make sure are in the system right away. So we're finding that's even more helpful than just getting a top 500 or a top 700. Just send us your most traveled trip, and we can go ahead and make sure that all of those are in there so you're ready to go.
Right. And that way, right, you can get it done quicker. But when you do send those things, we have to know a little bit more than just a name or a description. We need to have some sort of contact information for them. And that's not just from our part not doing the research. It's the fact that you could say that you want to take your kids to John's Eatery, but we don't know where you mean. We don't know what you mean. If it's more than one venue location, we're not sure which one you're talking about. In fact, I believe Sierra did one the other day where it was listed, but because it was an international company, we weren't even really sure which country it was in, because a search turned up a few more locations probably than that person was aware that there were. So make sure that you give us your supply, that supplier list, those top suppliers, but also like a location. A website is perfect. If you've got specific products from that place, that's great. Contacts, all that stuff. Try to get us all that information, and that helps speed the process along. I'm not saying we won't try to go out and find it, but it will hamper it getting into the system in a timely manner unless we have all that information.
Right.
And then what it comes down to is you're going to have to choose someone in your company. The owner is the default. The owner, the COO, the CEO, the president, whoever's in charge of the company, that's who default will get set to be able to access the company manager, which is the screen you see in front of you. Most other people don't have access to this, but all the owner has to do, all that head person has to do, is tell us that another person is going to take care of this information, and we can make it available to them. And basically, what you'll see is a dashboard with your logo in the center. We've done a lot on Company Manager before, so some of this is sharing old stuff, and some of it is sharing new stuff as we come along. So what you want to do is sit down and, all right, and we'll just go in order, and we're going to go right underneath this logo. And you'll say, click on the tabs below to view and edit and add currency conversions and pricing levels. You need to sit down, you, your staff, or just your staff, I don't care, and decide how is it you're going to price things out. So for instance, and this is the tabs below down here where it says pricing levels. If I click on here, I'm going to see pricing levels. Now I'm going to see a lot of pricing levels. But basically, these are pricing levels that you set. I can add them, right? Here's where I add a new one. And what you want to do is decide, how is it that you price out a trip? What do you want your margin to be, your motor coach margin to be, your airline margin to be, your per person admin fee, your admin fee percentage wise, any commission that you're sending over, and then the valid start and end dates for that. Because maybe you only want it to go until 2023. Okay, that's great. Maybe you're going to up those later. Maybe you're going to, you can send them way off into the future, or you can make them very valid, or end very quickly, depending on what you want. And a lot of people don't want to do this, Jim, because it takes time to think about how you want to do it, or how you do it, and you're going to add it. Like, there's some people who don't add a percentage margin, they add a per person fee margin. You can see in our demos what we've done is said, oh, everybody adds 150 or 140, and you add every level that you want, or 35% of the cost, or 34% of the cost is the margin, so that it calculates the way you want it to maximize out the profit, but the benefit for the group as well. And sitting down to decide this, especially if you're not used to doing it this way, takes some time. But please take that time, because then all it is a selection over in Sales Manager, and you're done. You just select it. You don't have to worry about any of those calculations. Do this ahead of time. Calculations are a breeze. The other thing is your currency conversions. So if you, we haven't done any demos on this in Awesome Travel right now, but if you were going to add a currency conversion, basically what you're saying here is, I want a quick way. I do a lot of trips that go into Europe, so I have to convert to the euro a lot. So you just want to set in a currency conversion from the dollar to the euro, so that you can set that conversion on a product or on a trip, and it will calculate it into the new thing for you. It is not live, you set it. So if you know that the euro is always $1.4, then set that, or give a couple of currency. You don't have to do one currency conversion. You could do several, and sort of choose and hedge your bets a little bit about what the currency is going to do while you're still creating this trip. But again, this takes some thought and time to sit down and do. But if you do it, it saves you so much time in the end. They're adjustable, and they can start and end just like anything else, if you want them to expire and not be used for later. So try them out. I mean, you're there. By the way, another thing is, this data is yours, right? So if somebody sent a thing the other day, is, you know what, I did a pricing level wrong. Can you delete a pricing level? You can delete the pricing level yourself. It's your pricing level.
Right.
So by all means, delete it out of the system. That's fine. Delete out the old ones if you want. I will caution you, though, if you delete out old ones, all your trip histories for those are going to disappear. So I would leave them there, so that they can apply to the trip for them. So 5 years down the road, when you want to look back at 2022, if you've deleted the pricing levels for that, all the prices of your trips in Sales Manager are going to be incorrect. They'll be right in other places, but they'll be wrong there, just because it will wipe out that information. So you want to keep them there, but you can if you want to, especially if you made a mistake on one.
And that's the thing I think sometimes people don't necessarily understand, is that kind of information that they're putting in is company specific. So that is something that only they have access to. So they're welcome to go in and delete until their heart's content. But that's once it's deleted, like you said, it's deleted.
Yeah. Very much. Yes, that's exactly right. All right. So you can update your general information, and I would definitely go here. Now, I will let you know that the general information tab, which I'm going to show you here, will be filled out for you, by the fact that you signed a contract with us. So we have the information. that is name and website and address, and things of that nature. If that changes for any reason, come in here and change it. We do pull this address into other places of QuickBase. So if you change the address here, it will change the address throughout the system in places that are not created. Like if you create a document, it's going to be on the document. It's not going to alter that document until you create a new document. But this way you don't have to go in and change your address everywhere, right? We're going to do that for you if you change your address here. I don't know. A lot of people don't know that this is an option, but if you'd like to standardize a group minimum, this means that if you're doing a trip and you price it out for 50 people, and you'd like to really price it out for 47 people, so that if the trip drops from 50 to say 48, you don't have to make any adjustments, right? You can just say to the client, hey, no problem. We got you covered. No change in price. You can do that by setting that price there. A lot of people don't know we have that, but we do. We have a way to you say that there are 50 people going, but it really calculates on 47, or like if you put a minimum of 3, or 45 if you put a minimum of 5, to give you a little cushion at the bottom. So if the numbers drop a few people, you don't have to worry about it. So that's the general information tab. You don't have to do too much with that, but it is nice to go out and check. Then, as this comes back up, if your logo changes for some reason, you can click there to update it. I don't need to click on it because all it's going to do is take me to a page that says upload your logo. But I do actually want to go real quick. You can update your terms and conditions. And the look of this may change just a little bit in the future, so just be aware. But your terms and conditions all can be put here, and then we will move them throughout the system as need be. So if you go ahead and do that, like I said, be on the lookout for maybe a different look for this, a different feel for this. Some of you also give your terms and conditions to tailor, which is fine as well if you'd like to do it that way. For the moment, but just be prepared. But we have a place for you to put those terms and conditions, so that they can be placed in the places that we need terms and conditions placed.
And again, the nice thing is they can always update those whenever they want to. Then
whenever they want to. So God forbid if a different pandemic occurs and you've got to make changes again.
Bite your tongue.
I know it's true. I figure by saying it, I will make it not happen. Since
well, let's hope.
Yeah. But here's a big one, and this one is one that people wait too long to update this information, and when they do, it's too late. And this is WeTravel, and I'll tell you how and why here. So if you're using the WeTravel system, WeTravel we have a pretty robust connection with WeTravel. So if you create a trip here in GTO and you send it to WeTravel, it's going to send it over there and create the WeTravel trip for you, and you don't have to do all that by hand. And of course, what we have to do is we have to have certain information like your account email. We have to have access to your WeTravel account in order to make that happen, right? But and you've seen now in a past video not too long, Christina came on and gave you the questions information, right? Where you set the questions and the order of the questions that you want to ask on a trip, right? And it gives you the passenger information type. It gives you question options. It gives you all of these choices as you do this. This takes some time that you may struggle to find in your schedule to fill out all these. But I will tell you, if you fill them all out, you're done. You don't have to do it for any other trip. And I will remind you that they're adjustable on the trip. So if you're like, oh, dang, we really don't need this one, or we need to add one to this trip that we don't ask on all our trips, you can do that on the trip itself. These are simply here and then regenerated on your trip, saving you so much time having to do this for every trip. So take the time, fill these questions out. Right now we're using these. There's an order. If you're asking yourself, why do we have to do this? It's because these questions go over, and then when they come back, we know which ones that it's going to be. We know where to place the information when the information comes back to us. So just be aware and fill that part out. There are customizable paragraphs, which are text fields. Check to customize general about trip section, right? We have a default. If you want something else, you better check it and give us what you want, right? You don't have to take what we have. But if you're going to, then great. But if you're not, you have to fill out your own. Here are the paragraphs that you want to add into it. You want to add a payment schedule to every package. Check to customize your package names. Check to customize your package descriptions. If you fill all this stuff out ahead of time, then you are setting yourself up to make sure that it occurs on the place that you need it to occur. Now, I just hit save and close, which was different than what I had done before, and you'll come to this page. Don't be alarmed if you come to this page. It's literally just everything we just talked about, only in tab form here. The WeTravel information, the terms and conditions. But I did want to mention a couple of things here on these tabs, which is group accounting and passenger manager. You'll notice that there's some information here about group accounting that you want to make sure you get a hold of. Hotel instructions, email for invoicing, phone numbers for your invoice, any disclaimer you want on your invoice. So just be aware that there's some information to fill out here, group accounting and passenger manager. And then this last thing I want to show you. This one hasn't been on there very long, so I want to make sure that you understand. Tour director documents is a place where, again, I mentioned, if you place the document here, they will go over into your tour packets in the tour manager, the on the road tour app. So if you do that, if you do this ahead of time, then you will save yourself a lot of time in the end, but you have to put them here. So imagine now, add that all up. You do all this WeTravel information, you do the group accounting information, you add your documents, you add your pricing levels, you add your currency conversions. When you do that, that's a lot of time right there. But you only have to do it once, and you only have to update after that. So I encourage you to do this stuff in order to fully utilize the system. There are some new super exciting things on the horizon about how we present information to clients that we're super excited about, coming soon to a theater near you. That will require some information early on as well. So I want you to be prepared for that. Basically, if you come to the company manager, you're going to see the information that you need to update and fill out. If you are the company owner, the COO, the president, the grand poobah, or your designated representative to fill that information out. So to recap, we've got everything in company manager. We've got supplier manager, right? And one of the things I failed to mention on supplier manager is you need to let us know, like, and this sounds weird. If you don't do these kind of trips, it's fine. I understand that. But still let us know if you have preferred pricing for something. So for instance, let's say you have preferred pricing for Disney or Universal. We need to know what level that is so that we can make those available to you. That would be for instance, a preferred pricing. Make sure that we know that you receive, you know, a lot of it's volume, I think, right, Jim? I mean, like if you do a lot of volume with it, you may get a different price than a little volume. Let's
Absolutely. That's one of the things that we ask before we do the onboarding as well, is that we, in some of the information that we gather initially, we will try to get the levels, their preferred statuses for different companies, for any company that they have preferred status for. So that is something that if it changes, let us know that too.
Right, absolutely. That's exactly right. Because we want to make sure that the information is accurate for you. Absolutely. And so even if you don't go to someplace like, say, Disney or Universal, we'll set If you don't tell us, we're just going to set the level at pretty much the price everybody pays. So non-group or regular group pricing, non-group pricing, however it is, that's what we'll set it as. That'll raise the price of your trips. That will make you less competitive. So we want to make sure that that information is correct when you come onto the system. Now, there are some other places that you need to fill out some information. The other one would be passenger manager. There's information for rooming lists that that we need to fill out. That would be that hotel instructions section that we were talking about um, earlier on. Um, you saw the invoices stuff. So then, lastly, it is my suggestion that you have some time set aside for training and adaptation. Um, I, I believe I'm a little biased, Jim, it's true, but I believe GTO will be the biggest change to your company to happen in a long time. Because so many people are coming out of, I feel like we've helped people come from stone chisels on tablets into the 21st century, and everything in between. Quill and parchment, paper and pen, Excel spreadsheet and Word document. Your choices here are that we've pulled people from. I feel are pretty unlimited, but this is a large change to your operation, and you've chosen wisely to have it because it's going to really empower you to do a lot of cool things. But it does mean that your staff's going to require some adjustment time. Um, and that's why those trainings are so important. But for you all to sit down too, what a great opportunity for you to sit down with your staff or with you and other leadership or just you and evaluate how your company runs, expound upon the things that work great, um, alter the things that work okay, and fix the things that aren't working at all, and using GTO to help that process along. And that, again, requires time and patience. And if you do it, I think that, yeah, it'll be exactly what you're looking for in the end. So just so you know, take the time, fill out the information, do the trainings, get us the information, and then you'll fly along in GTO.
Absolutely. And to be honest, like you were saying, it's an amazing tool. It is an amazing tool. And for those people who realize that they do need to automate certain things or to work more efficiently within one system or to give people freedom to work from wherever they want to work, this is the tool that's for you. But again, learn it up front, learn it at the beginning, get all of the hard work done at the very beginning. And then as you're using the system and you're coming up to speed and you're flying through, putting new trips and new proposals in, you don't have to stop. You can just continue on because all of that work you did at the beginning is going to pay off then as you get really busy and everybody's putting things into the system. So it's worth that little bit of extra effort at the beginning. And we're also here to kind of help guide you through those things. So, if you do have questions, it's not like we're saying, oh, go ahead and do this on your own. It's one of those things that it's just like, here's the system. Here are some easy ways to kind of familiarize yourself with the system. And you're going to be putting information in that you're going to be using in the future. So it kind of gives you a way to kind of navigate around, put things in, set yourself up for success. And then you can go in and start building trips and stuff as well. But, take the time to do that. And also, as I talk to you, as Kara talks to you, as Taylor talks to you, as we're bringing things together and putting you, getting you ready to go into the system, we're going to request information from you as well. So we will send you a list of things that we need to kind of build the system out for you to that certain point, and then you'll put the rest of the information in yourself. And then it's all going to be ready to use by the time you're ready for training.
Yeah, there's a couple. There is one thing I forgot. It's a big thing, Jim, and I meant to mention this early on, but I'm glad I'm mentioning it near the end so that you're leaving with this information. A lot of our clients forget because I know they get told, But in the onslaught of information that comes onto them right away, it gets lost, and that is, and there's nowhere to put this information. You have to tell us. So maybe this is how GTO works. I just had a brainstorm sitting here with Jim. We're talking, and I'm thinking I need to put a place for this. Did you know that you could tell us if you have something that you put on every trip, right? Every trip gets a blank. Every trip has this on it. Or you're the only operations person in your company, so you're the operations person for every trip. We can automate those things to happen. So let's say you have a scholarship program that you have, or let's say you have you always add the same price tour director on every trip. You always have you always give a director's gift. Those things can be added automatically. So when you create a proposal, those products will drop in for you without doing anything. They'll automatically be added. This can be both a convenience and a saving grace, because the other thing you can do is a default pricing level. So when you create a proposal, it has no pricing level. And if you forget to put a pricing level on it, then basically you're giving a trip at cost, right? So you're about to make zero money on that trip. But we can set it to auto set to a certain pricing level, and then you can adjust it. Everything's adjustable. Right. But at least you know that it's hitting the default. We have some companies that do that. That's certainly a possibility. If you think that there's something that happens on every trip, the chances of it being able to be added to every trip are pretty high and always adjustable. So if you say, well, most of our trips have a tour director, but one or two don't, I could add that tour director to every trip, and you could just take it off the ones you don't want to. It's your data. You add and subtract how you want. So that's to make things easier for you. By all means, let's get that in there.
Well, that's one of the things we talk about in demos and in training as well. If they have specific tasks that they do on every single trip that they operate, those can be preloaded. So that way you don't have to put in 60 days before, make sure to reconfirm, 30 days before, make sure to send the allergy lists. You can automatically have those put into the system. So that way you don't have to remember to put it in. It'll already be there for you. And so, take advantage of a lot of that stuff. The system will allow you to do it. So by all means, do it. It's going to make your life easier. It's going to streamline things for you. And that's always a good thing. Give yourself a little more time.
Yep. I've told several companies about those tasks in Trip Manager, and I know the reason that they don't utilize it, because they think it's a great idea, but they don't utilize it because it means you have to sit down and think about it, and that takes time, and everybody's move, and go. And I get it. But you got to do the coach in order to do the go, right?
Oh, wow.
You're welcome for that, Jim.
I have nothing else to say.
Roll credits.
That is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. Thank you for that, Corey.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, as always, if you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with us. So please make sure to reach out. And we're here for you. We always tell you, once you're a part of the GTO community, we're always here working on the back end to make sure that you have all of the information that you need to make your day-to-day work life easier. So by all means, take advantage of that. And as Corey so eloquently, go through the coach so you can go. I mean, you actually said it better than I did. So
I was good. It was good, Jim. It was good.
Well, just a reminder to everybody, again, Coach and Go does happen on Tuesdays. Every other Tuesday, we have a full-on Coach and Go. And then on our off weeks, we're also going to do some Coach and Go minutes. We haven't kind of come up with the exact name for it yet, but we're going to give you little snippets of things that you can work on, little things that we have going on that we've updated, little pointers to use the system better. So that'll take no more than 5 minutes, and we'll get you in and out, and we'll do those things as well. Don't forget, also on Thursdays, we do have Destination Dispatch on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. And this week, we're going to be learning everything that we can learn about Reno, Nevada. So make sure to join us Thursday for our destination dispatch at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And again, you can tune in on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. So make sure that you follow us. Also on YouTube, it's an archive basically for all of our former Coach and Go and also our Destination Dispatch episodes. So if you've missed things, if you want to see how things work, if you want to go back and watch something again, so that way you have a little more information about it, go to our YouTube channel and you'll find all of those playlists there. So make sure to go in and take a look at to your heart's content. Do some more coaching. So. Well, Corey, thank you so much. It's good to have you back. I'm glad you had a great vacation. And it's always nice to spend some time on Tuesdays with you. And we will definitely talk more later. To everybody else, have a fantastic week. And we look forward to seeing you again on the next episode of Coach and Go. Take care.
Thank you for watching this episode of GTO Coach and Go. We invite you to stay connected with Group Travel Odyssey on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and be sure to check out more of our media, including Destination Dispatch and the Destinations Beyond Expectations podcast. Please visit our website, grouptravelodyssey.com, where you can learn more about GTO and request a demo. Group Travel Odyssey, business without boundaries.